Hey everyone, Fazıl Abubakar Asaf here, and welcome to This Explainer. Today we're diving into something that literally shapes the world we walk out into every single morning. We are going to look at what happens when the mechanisms of justice, the very systems designed to protect us, start to break down. Because when justice is delayed, society pays a massive price. It's a pretty heavy topic, but it is incredibly urgent. So let's jump right in.
So what actually happens when people just stop believing in justice? Well, we see the symptoms everywhere, all around the world. We see it when victims are terrified to speak up because they think no one's going to listen anyway. We see it when the powerful somehow manage to escape accountability completely. And we definitely see it when cases just drag on for years, sometimes even decades, without any real conclusion. When things like this happen, that fundamental core belief in a fair society really starts to crack.
And the damage? It goes way, way beyond the walls of our courtrooms. A weak justice system doesn't just fail the individuals involved in a specific case, it actively weakens the very foundation of society as a whole. In this explainer, we're going to break down exactly why justice systems become weak, how this kind of hidden decay affects you and every other ordinary citizen, and most importantly, we're going to talk about practical, proven solutions that can actually help us build a fairer future.
Part 1. The broken scales of justice.
Ideally, justice is society's ultimate equalizer, right? The place where everyone stands equal before the law, whether you're rich or poor, whether you hold all the cards or feel completely powerless. But let's be real. Reality often falls way short of that ideal. Globally, we are facing some serious systemic challenges. We're talking about massive case backlogs and delayed trials that keep people stuck in limbo for years. We see a chronic lack of resources where courts literally just don't have the staff to function. And then you have the more insidious stuff, political interference and outright corruption. Add unequal access into the mix, where justice basically depends on your bank account, and the intimidation of witnesses and victims. These systemic hurdles make the law unbearably slow, or worse, incredibly selective. And here is the inevitable fallout from all of that. When justice becomes slow or selective, public trust just evaporates. It doesn't happen overnight, but it disappears steadily. And once that trust is gone, people don't just stop needing justice. They start looking for alternative ways to resolve their disputes. And as history has shown us time and time again, those alternative ways can be extremely dangerous.
Part 2. The cost of delay.
Moving beyond the courtroom, a broken system triggers these devastating ripple effects on everyday life. First, victims just lose hope. They give up. Second, criminals actually feel encouraged. Third, as we just talked about, public trust erodes. But look at number 4. Economic growth actually takes a hit. Think about it. Businesses only want to invest where laws are predictable and contracts can actually be enforced. Weak justice completely discourages investment and innovation. And finally, number 5, social tensions increase. Frustrated communities become incredibly polarized.
It's basically a double-edged sword. On one side, you have the victim. For them, waiting years for a resolution turns into a second punishment. The system that was meant to heal them is actually prolonging their trauma. But on the flip side, you have the criminal. For them, a weak system means uncertainty, and uncertainty makes wrongdoing way less risky. It unintentionally rewards bad behavior. So the system is out there crushing the hope of the innocent while actively emboldening the wrongdoers.
Which naturally leads everyday citizens to ask a pretty heavy question. Does the law actually protect everyone equally? When people look around and see a system that clearly favors the rich or the well-connected, they lose faith in their institutions. And when institutions lose credibility, the glue that holds our communities together dissolves and social divisions grow rapidly.
So, the absolutely crucial point to take away from the first half of this explainer is this. Justice delayed today can become social instability tomorrow. Communities that feel unheard and unprotected, they don't just stay quiet forever. Unpredictable laws destroy economies, and unheard frustrations eventually boil over into polarization and conflict.
Part 3. Blueprint for a fairer future. The good news? We can actually fix this, and we know exactly how to do it. Every major institutional problem has a concrete, practical solution. Got massive backlogs? Fast-track case management and technology. Digital filing and online hearings can clear those backlogs out fast. Dealing with corruption? You fight that with hardcore transparency and strict anti-corruption measures, like independent oversight. Unequal access? We solve that by improving and funding legal aid so justice doesn't just belong to the wealthy. And intimidation? We counter that directly with robust programs to protect witnesses, ensuring people actually feel safe telling the truth. And building on that, here are a few more essential fixes. We absolutely must increase judicial capacity, meaning we need more judges and court staff to process these cases efficiently. We have to strengthen judicial independence. Courts must remain totally free from political pressure. Justice has to follow the evidence, not the influence, right? We also need the responsible use of technology, strong civic education so the public actually knows their rights, and above all, a real commitment to equal justice for all. Because an informed public is a lot harder to exploit, and justice loses all meaning the second it becomes selective.
Part 4. The Power of the Citizen.
Now, you might be thinking, Fazal, this sounds great, but isn't this the government's job to fix? Well, yes, but ordinary people have immense power here too. It starts with step 1. Reject corruption in your own daily life and report wrongdoing responsibly. It really does start at home, in our own actions. Step 2. Actively support transparency and respect the rule of law in your community. And step 3. Vote for accountable leadership. These small, everyday choices by millions of ordinary citizens, they create an unstoppable wave of change.
And crucially, we need to stand with victims, absolutely regardless of their identity. Promoting dialogue over violence and showing real solidarity with people who've been wronged, no matter who they are powerful ways that we, as a public, demand better from our systems.
Part 5. The true measure of society. As we wrap things up, we really have to ask ourselves what measures the true strength of a nation. Justice isn't just about punishment. That is a really narrow way to look at it. Truly, justice is about fairness. It is about accountability. And most importantly, it's about protecting human dignity. That is the whole point. That's what a functioning legal system is built to defend.
Ultimately, it comes down to a really stark choice. When you have weak justice, everyone becomes vulnerable. The rot just spreads, to the economy, to social trust, to basic everyday safety. But when you have strong justice, everyone becomes safer.
A strong nation is not measured by the power of its leaders. It is measured by the confidence of its citizens that justice will be done. So ask yourself, if the scales of justice tipped in your community tomorrow, who would be there to catch them? I'm Fazal Abubakar Asaf. If you found the insights in this explainer meaningful, please share it with others and keep the conversation going, because a genuinely fair society only begins when ordinary citizens refuse to stop caring about justice. Thanks so much for learning with